Hey, what's up? This is Joe. This video is going to take you moto camping in the state of Virginia. Riding on the Blue Ridge Parkway. This ride has been beautiful and absolutely freezing cold. Exploring Shenandoah National Park. And doing my level best to stay warm as the temperatures drop below freezing. All right, there's the inside of the tent flap, and yeah, you can see all the condensation froze. All right, it's the last week of October. Just finished up wrapping up Biketoberfest, and then came home, and the temperatures have been hovering right around freezing. I got about another week before I fly out to Vietnam, so I just got to get back on the road and do some camping. Even though it's like freezing cold, there's Shenandoah National Park north of here, a couple of hours. This time of the year should absolutely be gorgeous with the leaves changing color and stuff like that. So hopefully I got enough stuff to stay warm. I got my new cot and bringing the big sleeping pad, 2 sleeping bags, 1 blanket, plenty of long johns, layers, and stuff like that. I should be fine. But anyway, let's hit the road. From Southwest Virginia, I made my way northeast toward Shenandoah National Park. I had purposely gotten off to a late start so as to let the weather warm up as much as possible, and by the time I left, it was around 40 degrees. I figured on looking for a spot to camp somewhere in the George Washington National Forest, and the back roads leading there took me on a winding roller coaster ride through a chilly autumn landscape. I headed up into the mountains on this gravel road for several miles. The further I went, the more narrow the road became, and I was having zero luck finding anywhere to camp, let alone turn around. After several more miles of this, I began inching the bike forwards and backwards on the narrow road, doing my best not to fall off the mountain, and finally managed to get pointed in the opposite direction. When I got to the bottom, I found a free camping area and rode up a small footpath into a clearing next to a creek. So yeah, in choosing this spot, basically I like it because it's out of the wind. I looked at a couple other spots over that way. They're kind of not nearly as private, and I could feel a breeze coming in. It's been windy as hell today, so anything I can do to avoid that icy wind coming in. I'm in the George Washington National Forest. It's been absolutely beautiful out here. It's about 4 p.m. now. I am dead tired already. Just being in the cold, you tend to burn a lot more calories than you would otherwise. Anyway, I cooked up some sliced steak at home, so that's easier than anything for tonight. You'll notice I got a tree at my back. This is absolutely black bear country. Right now, they're sort of fattening up and trying to get ready for the winter so they can kind of live off those fat reserves, and I do not want to contribute to that. So I like to keep a tree or something like that at my back just so nothing can sneak up on me. With all the leaf litter on the ground, it's kind of like a natural alarm. If even a squirrel 50 yards away makes a noise, I can hear it, pretty well. All right, there we go. Nothing like cold steak and the great outdoors. So one of the secrets to staying warm in cold weather like this is to shed layers when you're doing stuff and not let yourself sweat, because once you start getting that bottommost layer of clothes saturated with sweat, it ain't never going to dry off, basically. and you're stuck with it, you know, soaking wet. And when the temperature drops, all that water is going to cool. So I was out there making camp and realized that I was getting hot and took off my jacket and that scarf thing I was wearing. I'll probably fix up this fire pit tonight. I wasn't really planning on having a fire, but I like to have it. You know, it's nice to sort of warm your hands and get some coals burning through the night. Interestingly enough, it was my friend Gary Shannon who pointed out that a lot of wild animals are naturally avoidant of fires, just simply because of the natural occurrence of forest fires and stuff like that. They know to sort of instinctively stay away from them. So ever since he told me that, it's something that I've thought about and try to do whenever I can, especially when I'm in bear country like this. So like I said, this is bear country, so I'm gonna gather all of my toothpaste, deodorant and stuff, anything that smells, any food type of stuff, and hang it from a tree. Kind of annoying, but if you wanna camp in bear country and stay alive, you gotta do what you gotta do. Anyway, getting ready to wind her down. I got my cot and my thick sleeping pad. This thing is a lot like a bed, honestly. So I'm already seeing my breath, so it won't be long now before it's absolutely freezing or possibly below freezing. So I'm gonna go ahead and zip this tent up. I usually sleep with this tent flap open, but I actually want to keep as much wind out as possible. And now I don't typically break this out or even carry it with me, but that's like a 50-degree mummy bag. This that I'm sitting in is this is like a 30-degree mummy bag. On really cold nights where it gets below freezing, I'll bring that out and use that as a liner. And then I've also got a down, imitation fake down blanket. I'm gonna be using all three of those tonight because I'm already seeing my breath. So it's gonna be cold. Anyway, we'll see you in the morning. As I lay huddled under the covers on my cot, I thought back to the last week when I was down in Florida to work the Biketoberfest rally. My boss at Memphis Shades had put me on a plane to Jacksonville, then picked me up at the airport in the semi-truck, and we drove the obligatory 90 miles to Ormond Beach. From the moment I'd stepped off the plane, the temperature was in the mid-80s and muggy, and throughout the setup process, I was dripping with sweat. The bummer of this trip, aside from the oppressive heat and humidity, was being told to move at the last minute to a different spot from where we usually set up, which was a sudden curveball we hadn't anticipated. As soon as I'd gotten the tent situated, I had a gigantic mountain of inventory to cherry pick and reorganize before the show started. From top to bottom, the setup took about 2 days. Boy, I could get used to this thing, let me tell you. One of the perks of this job was riding around my boss's new Street Glide, which made me instantly spoiled. Although such a bike would be totally inappropriate for my current lifestyle, it wasn't hard to fantasize about getting on one of these and riding off into the sunset. Once we got the setup out of the way, we were off to a good start, and for the rest of the week I had my hands full talking to potential customers and installing windshields and fairings. This is a new thing that the Harley dealer out here in Ormond Beach is doing, where basically they got all this massive amount of bikes for sale, hundreds and hundreds of them. Hopefully pretty tight security out here, I would imagine. It's kind of an interesting color. That's very sort of Prince Purple Rain type of deal, matte purple.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what that's all about. Got all these crazy looking trikes. I haven't really seen these. It's a Rowako. Never seen these, but I've seen several of them out here. I don't know if I'd really trust the build quality on these, honestly, without knowing more about it. Maybe it's fine, I don't know. For the next couple days, the weather was gloriously mild, and after a long week, Sunday rolled around and we began tearing the whole operation down. Hey, a little bit. How you been, man?
Oh, bad. Had to bring one of the kids fucking down here for doing some part fucking exchange. So,
oh yeah.
I'm like, well, you go do your shit. I'm gonna walk around and see hi to you people.
Do the other side.
Over here a little more.
Yeah. Later that afternoon, I was on a plane back to Virginia, and it was as if the whole event never even happened. All right, boy, the days are getting short. It's about 6:30 this morning. Had a very comfortable night of sleep in here. I needed every single layer and every piece of gear that I brought if I were missing only one of those pieces, it would have absolutely sucked because it's freezing cold. So yeah, I'm using both sleeping bags plus that imitation down thing, couple of layers. I probably could have used another layer of socks last night. My little toes were getting a little bit cold. I got my my stove. Typically I just throw a package of instant coffee in a bottle and shake it up, but on a really cold day like this, I just find you really need some warm liquids. Yep, so you can see by this glittery appearance that it just started to frost up. So although this operation is comfortable, it is not quick to pack up. Now I got to break down that cot, deflate the mat, fold up the sleeping bags, 2 of them, fold up the towel. I mean, that's the price you pay for comfort, I guess. Next thing I'm going to do now is take these dry wool mix socks off and save these, put them on tonight when I get ready for bed, wherever I'm going. All right, there's the inside of the tent flap, and yeah, you can see all the condensation froze. So it's pretty cold. Pretty much between the hours of 5 a.m. and 7 a.m., that's about as cold as it's going to get through the night. Frankly, once I drank a cup of coffee, I really didn't feel cold at all, even when I was packing up my stuff and got out of the sleeping bag. The nice thing is, instead of having to dry out all the condensation, since it's frozen, I should just be able to shake it all off. Since it's below freezing, I'm going to give my Totoro oiler probably an extra quarter of a turn right there. That should be good. Just get that oil flowing on the chain. Probably let her warm up for a good 10-15 minutes at the least. After packing up camp, I got back on the road and headed up the mountain toward the Blue Ridge Parkway. The temperature up here was significantly cooler than at the bottom of the mountain, and in spite of the 3 layers I was wearing, it wasn't long before my hands, feet, and knees were frozen numb. As per the sign, in June and July during corn chopping time, this cliff serves the folks in White Rock community as a timepiece. 20 minutes after sunlight strikes the rock face, dusk falls on the valley below. Wow, man, this ride has been beautiful and absolutely freezing cold up here, man. This is pretty much right at the limit of my gear. Fingers and toes frozen. I'm going to have to sort of walk around, sort of warm up a little bit. I got about 30 minutes until the next town, so planning on getting some gas there and stocking up on food and water kind of thing. I hiked up and down the road a few times until I started to get the feeling back in my hands and feet, then resumed the ride and counted down the miles until Waynesboro. When I got there, I stopped at a cheap breakfast place and ordered a large hot coffee, scrambled eggs, and sausage patties. All right, I've been inside of there drinking coffee and trying to warm up. I'm just going to kind of walk around this neighborhood. This is Waynesboro, Virginia, I think. I'm pretty close to the entrance to Shenandoah National Park. Not really sure how deep into the park I'm going to go because it's so cold. We'll see how it goes. I'm just going to ride, no plans. I got nothing I'm intending on seeing. Just going to take whatever comes along. As soon as I entered the park, I realized I'd made a huge mistake. Of all days, I'd chosen Saturday morning to come visiting, and the place was crawling with tourists. I rode at a snail's pace in a long line of cars toward a campground about 20 miles up the road. Unlike on the parkway, the views here were subpar, and by the time I reached the campground, the place was already filled up. All right, here we go, Shenandoah National Park. Frankly, it's a little bit underwhelming after that stretch of parkway that we were on earlier today. Really, I should probably have my head examined for coming up here on a Saturday. There's apparently a campground for 15 bucks a night further that way, and it's totally full. I don't know why I thought that I was going to be able to get a spot there, but anyway, that's the way it goes. I'm now heading back towards Waynesboro, and might look for something out there. Frankly, I might just try to make it back to the spot I was in last night. The ride coming back out of the park was a hell of a lot quicker, with almost zero traffic, and after about an hour and a half, I was back in my spot next to the creek. All right, a little bit of rotisserie chicken. I'm back in my pretty nice spot next to the creek. Chicken, not very warm at this point, but hey, I'm lucky I've got anything. Well, all in all, I'd say this was a pretty successful outing. Like I said, the traffic in Shenandoah National Park, next level insane, but this spot is perfect. I mean, George Washington National Forest, nice and out of the wind, sort of secluded, right next to a running body of water. So anyway, I got a bunch of loose ends and stuff to tie up, stuff to take care of before heading to Vietnam. So heading back home tomorrow and trying to do as much of that as possible in the next week. And yeah, we'll see you on the other side of the world. That night, the temperature hovered just above freezing, and the extra 2 or 3 degrees made a world of difference when it came to getting out of bed in the morning. I packed up my camp for the last time of the year and prepared myself for a long-ass journey to Vietnam. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Obviously, I'm in Vietnam, and after thinking long and hard about it for the last several years, I've decided to start up a second channel where I'll be posting kind of my more international foodie travel type of stuff. The fact is that when I take these kind of trips, the genre of my channel kind of switches from being sort of a pure moto vlog to more of an international foodie / culture type of channel. With a little bit of motorcycles thrown in here and there. So anyway, the plan is tentatively to continue to post on this channel once I get back on 2 wheels, and anything that's not directly related to motorcycles will go on the other channel. At the end of the day, doing this is all about trying different things and having fun with it, you know? So stay tuned for that. I'll share more details as it materializes. So yeah, with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. And as usual, I've included an optional donate link in the drop box for anybody that might like to contribute to this project. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the road.